Hi there, I'm your host Macaulay Tucker, and you're listening to The Macaulay Tucker Show, the podcast where I sit down with some of the most accomplished and fascinating individuals in the entertainment and business industry. From celebrities to industry leaders, our guests offer unique perspectives and inspiring stories that will educate and inform you. Join me as I sit down with my next guest to cover their humble beginnings, challenges they faced, as well as their accomplishments in life. You are bound to learn something new, so sit back and enjoy the interview. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Macaulay Tucker Show. Today's episode is going to be looking a little bit different. I've got a co-host today, Jasper. My friend Jasper was very interested in the program, and I wanted to invite him on to experience an episode. Our guest today is Armen. Armen recently had the opportunity to be in an amazing film called Beau Is Afraid, directed by Ari Aster, and he played a younger version of Beau, which is the main character, which is played by Joaquin Phoenix. And so this episode is going to be really cool, so just sit back and enjoy the interview. This is a very different episode. We've got my buddy Jasper here. He's gonna be co-hosting with us today, and so he's just gonna be asking the first question.
Yeah, so my first question for you, Armin, is, what really inspired you to pursue your career in acting? You're obviously very young, so it's a bit different getting into it. And, how did you, start in the industry?
Well, I started when I was even younger. I started when I was like 5 or 6, and growing up, and ever since I was a kid, my parents introduced me to movies and plays. My mom went to film school at UC Santa Cruz. Um, I would I would read a book or watch a movie, and then we would go to the play version of it. So like when I was a little kid, I really liked Matilda. We went to the musical of Matilda and Big Fish. So I've been introduced to it at a young age. In first grade, I did um, a play at my school, and I played Aesop in like the Aesop Fables thing. So um, I had like a lot of lines for a kid, and it was a lot, but I really liked it. So I've always been interested in it. And then my older brother Remy, he asked my parents to join acting classes, and of course, me being a younger sibling, wanting to copy everything that my brother does, I wanted to join as well. And I joined, and I really liked it because now and even as a kid, I'm very, when you think of an actor, you think of someone that's really energetic and um, really great at talking and really, um, yeah, just basically energetic. But me, I'm a lot more reserved and quiet. I'm pretty nervous, so acting and playing different characters allows me to express myself in ways that I otherwise wouldn't have and wouldn't have been brave enough to do. And stepping into that character just allows me to expand my personality and express myself that way. So that's really why I kind of got into it.
You mentioned a lot of really cool points there. You mentioned, in acting and being on camera, you're able to you're kind of playing a character. You're playing a different person. You're able to do different things that I guess you're not really normally used to doing. In my research, I actually came across an old video when you were actually younger, which is how I discovered how long you've been doing acting. On camera talking about your part of your agency. It's just really interesting to notice you're just super happy. You're really excited. You're outgoing, on camera, even at a younger age. It was just like, wow, this is really interesting to see how different of a person you are when you're on camera. And so you've gone through this really crazy journey. I like covering kind of like the first project. I know for your first project, it was doing promos for American Horror Story Hotel, and of course, that is an incredible opportunity, one that you can learn a lot from. I'd love to hear about this experience, specifically how it shaped your perspective on acting and the entertainment industry.
So yeah, that was probably one of my very first um, acting experiences, and it was an amazing one because I got to work with Lady Gaga, which was awesome. But it was for the promos, so it wasn't like it's not like there's a lot of lines or there wasn't a whole lot of you know acting wise that went into it. There was a lot of photos. There was a lot of um, commercials where I'd be sitting there or walking. But what it taught me as a kid was, yes, acting at times can be, most of the time acting is really fun, and um it's an amazing experience. But at other times there's patience, and there's hard work, because um for the American Horror Story promos, I had to play a young vampire, and I was in the makeup chair for hours, because they had to cover my whole body in this white makeup with an airbrush, and then go over it, and then they had to fit me for a wig, and paint my lips. So there was a lot of that side of work, a lot of hair and makeup that went into it. So yes, acting is really fun. You're on camera a lot. You get to be with other actors, but you're also there's a patience that goes along with it. You're in the makeup chair for hours, and maybe you're blocking a scene for hours. So there's kind of those two different sides to it.
And you learn a lot that way, I'm sure. About how, acting isn't all fun and games all the time. And that kind of leads into the next question as well. What kind of preparation did you undergo to play this new role in Beau Is Afraid? And was there anything really fascinating you learned? Because you got to learn from Joaquin Phoenix. Is there anything that you particularly learned from him as well?
Yeah. So watching Joaquin act and being around him, you definitely learn a lot of things. And the major thing I picked up on is that Joaquin he's always he's always present in the moment, and he's always ready to go. He's always ready to act. He's very professional. So like anytime, the crew would be working, he's setting up a camera angle or a new set. He never goes back to his wardrobe. He's always sitting there ready to go. And that also taught me a lot, because it shows that the crew works just as hard as the actor does. So you always need to be um, ready in the moment. Also, just as a person, Joaquin is he's so sweet, and he's out there to make you feel good. For the premiere in LA, I wore like a sleeveless vest, and we were standing outside getting ready to get introduced, and he's making sure I'm not cold. Or my dad took a picture when I was at the New York premiere. He's like, Armen, over here. And Joaquin's like, hey, you know that guy over there that just took your picture? So he's always looking out for the people around him, and it's just goes to show how great of a person he is. And I want to be a lot like that. I want to be able to um, I want to. It's important to make the others around you feel great and welcome. So.
Hmm. And just doing my research, when you found out about having this role, you were surprised, you were shocked, you were happy, and this movie was really cool. And I just one thing I would love to hear about is, since you were playing a younger version of Joaquin Phoenix's character, of course you have to do research. I've interviewed a few actors, and they talked about how they prepare for roles. One person talked about how they actually journaled as their character, which I thought was really cool, specifically for you. I'd love to hear this kind of a specific question, one that hopefully you can answer. What sort of things did you learn about Joaquin Phoenix specifically through your research that you hadn't really known about, that was like, wow, that's super neat. I never knew this about him before.
Well, before before getting this role, before
Mhm.
playing Beau, I didn't really know too much about Joaquin. I hadn't watched a lot of his movies. I had never been told that I looked like him, which is surprising. But when I got the role and I looked more into Joaquin, and I I learned that he's really well known for method acting. For the Joker, he he lost so much weight, and he's like this really skinny dude. And um I don't know too much about what went on in his personal life when he was method acting for that, but I'm assuming he completely changed his personality for that. And then however long later, he gains a lot of uh a lot more weight than he lost for Joker to play Beau, and then he's filming Joker 2 again, and here he is at his previous weight. Like it's just insane to me that someone is able to do that and really feel so much for the character and really step so much into the character's shoes that they can do that. So that's really it's really amazing to me, and I didn't know that about Joaquin, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and you can definitely learn a lot from doing research. That's what I enjoy about interviews. Going through research, you find really interesting things out. Like, oh, that's really fascinating. Get to learn more about a person. Through Beau Is Afraid. This is the main project that you've been a part of, and people are asking you about. So, through this project, there's all these really crazy and cool things and stories that you can tell. But I would love to hear, most importantly, specifically through this just film, what big lesson did you just take away from being involved in this project? You were involved for it for probably a very, a long period of time, and you were a big part of it too. Like I even through research, kind of sidetracking, like I believe, from my understanding, you were like on the first poster that was ever released, and that was really
Yeah.
fascinating. Like that's incredible. Being able to have that experience, just overall, what was just one of the main lessons you learned from this film, kind of stepping away and thinking about it? What's one of the big lessons you learned?
One is has to do in general with acting and anything else really is just to I mean it sounds like a lot of people say it sounds basic, but honestly just never give up. If you have a dream, just continue to do it. If you have a dream and you work hard at it, eventually you're going to achieve that dream as long as you don't give up. Before booking Beau's Afraid, I went really far at an audition for another series, and I really thought I was going to get it. I was super excited. I was signing the contracts, and then they just let me know, hey, we actually decided to go another direction, and I was super bummed out. I was so sad about it. And then I got the audition for Beau, and here I am now. I got to be in this amazing movie and just have this amazing experience. But who knows? Maybe if I got in that series that I lost out on, I wouldn't be here. So it it taught me to never give up and continue to be hardworking. Um, Also playing Beau, um, another thing I learned is to if you wanna be a great actor and to get the best performance possible out of yourself, is to just you can't care what people think. You you have to really to be able to fully become that character and just be, evolve into that person. You can't care what other people's opinions who doesn't really matter. For Beau, I did the self tape. I kissed myself in a mirror, and a lot of people are gonna think that's super weird, but that kiss was super important to Beau's story. So I needed to find a way to put that into my self tape. So I don't care if people think I'm weird for that. That's an important part of both stories. So to be the best, to be an amazing actor, you can't care what other people think, and you really need to transform into that character.
Yeah, wow. It's incredible, and it's an incredible process. So, one question I had, you obviously learned a lot from being on the set of Beau Is Afraid, and obviously you're still a very young actor. So moving forward now, is horror something that you think is a good fit for you? Is that something you want to continue to do as an actor?
Yeah, um, horror is definitely something I'd love to do. Um, it's definitely a dream of mine to do something like slasher related. Like Scream or Halloween. Something related to that is definitely a dream of mine. I got to be a part of a psychological horror, so now maybe being part of like a physical horror is would be amazing.
Yeah, and it's really, being able to have that experience and being able to go forward, you can try new things. You learned a lot from Beau Is Afraid. You can try other projects and try other genres to learn from those. Going into this film, not only did you get to meet Joaquin Phoenix, but you also got to meet so many other legendary Hollywood actors. And we all of us can be starstruck at times. I would love to ask, I saw one photo recently. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That must have been cool. You met Jenna Ortega. I'd love to hear about that. What was that? What was that like? I'd love to hear about that.
I mean, so she was at the premiere, and um, my brother saw her at first. He's like, "Oh my God, Armen! Holy shit, that's Jenna Ortega! Go get a picture with her." And I'm like, "No, it's okay, because I get it. Some people don't always want their picture taken, so I'm like, you know, it's all right. I don't gotta take a picture with her, but I love her work. Scream's amazing. X, uh, Wednesday. So um, I saw her and I was thinking about it. I'm like, maybe, uh, who knows? Maybe I won't get to meet her again. So I was getting really nervous because she's like really popular right now. So I was definitely a little starstruck, but I was getting pretty nervous, and then I was just go up to her and talk to her. So I went up to her. I'm just like, "What's up? I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Armen. What'd you think of the movie?" So yeah, we just talked about the movie a little bit, and then of course I asked her to get a picture. But yeah, she's really nice, and I love her work. So meeting her
Mhm.
was awesome.
And one thing I was really interested in asking you is this is kind of a complicated one that maybe you won't be able to answer. What is something that you wish people knew about the entertainment industry that isn't often talked about? I know you've been involved in a few things. I don't think I've never like directly asked any actor guests of mine. So you're the first person that I'm asking a question like this. What is something that you wish people knew about the entertainment industry that isn't often talked about?
I guess it kind of goes with what I said earlier
Mhm.
about what I learned with the American Horror Story promos, that Hollywood isn't just super glamorous. There's um, a lot of hard work behind it. And when I first started, I didn't know that, and now I do. There's processes, and it's not always fun. Like I said with Joaquin, how he method acts. Starving yourself isn't always a fun thing. So the fun comes afterwards, when you get to watch it and all your hard work pays off, and you get to see this movie that you've been working on for so long finally come to life. Um, Also, a lot of kids at my school think acting is really easy. They're like, "Oh, so how do you get into it? So I could just go on auditions?" I mean, it seems pretty easy. You're just reading lines off a script. A lot of people seem to think that it's simple, but there's a lot that goes on behind it, and um, it's not just what people see. It's not just these red carpets and these amazing um, events that go on. There's a lot of hard work and dedication behind it. So
Yeah, for sure. You're being a bit thrown into it. I think a little bit here. You're going to premieres, you're going to red carpets. It's you're really your first big project, and from what I understand, not that long ago, you were still working at a restaurant. So I actually was kind of curious about that as well. Um, how was working at a restaurant, interacting with customers? How has that kind of influenced your understanding of character development and portrayal in your acting work?
that's an awesome question. Yeah, so I still work there. It's just right down the street. It's a Mediterranean restaurant. Um, there's a reason that the best actors today have worked in food service. Um, you get First of all, you learn hard work, and second of all, you learn a lot about people by working there, just because you're interacting with them. Um, Working there, I get to see a whole bunch of different personalities. Some amazing people, some weird people that like to talk to the girls at the cash register for too long. So I get to learn a lot about different personalities, and it adds more of a human element to my acting. And if you're just inside all day, and not getting these, it's important for me to have these normal human experiences and interactions, because it helps me incorporate it into my acting.
And it's very important to learn from every situation. And I've been told this a lot, challenges help us grow. And I find I totally agree with you. Fast food, like my first job was McDonald's, and then randomly a pharmacy, and then now it's Starbucks. And so you're able to learn at like all these different places. You're able to meet people and grow at your social skills. You're even able to learn how to ask good questions. And this is
Yep.
kind of wrapping up, kind of. Just I wanted to ask you this. You're starting out. I've spoken to a few child actors, some retired people who have been involved in movies, and I'd love to hear. This is a difficult one. If you were to pick one more project, whether it be a TV show or a movie to act in, like right now, presently, and you weren't able to act again, what would you want that project to look like, and why would you want it to look like that specific thing that you wanted?
Ooh, that's deep.
Hmm.
I'm gonna think about that for a little bit.
All good. Don't worry.
A final project. I definitely want it to be impactful.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I guess I'd like to shed some light on people's people's journey to do what to people's journey on the way to their dreams. Whether it's, I'm really into skateboarding, and who knows, maybe I'll be a professional skateboarder one day. But, right now my dream is acting, but there's so many different ways that can go. So, to make a I'd like to make a movie about, or be a part of something that shine kind of shows the process into that, and some of the failure that goes along with that, and like you said, the challenges that help that person grow and eventually lead into that dream, and eventually them achieving it. But I really want to emphasize the 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 parts where, it's not always easy and there's a lot of rough patches, but if you stick with it, then you'll eventually get what you dream of, what you want. So
Mm. And I always ask my guests what they want to pass on to the listeners, but you kind of already answered that question. I always ask and conclude the interviews with what people would like to share with the listeners to impact them. But you already said so many good things. But I really appreciate you coming on, and I cannot wait. Very quickly, is there any like really really fun things for the future that you can share? I know in the entertainment world, there's always hush hush, business suits, things like that. But what's some of the cool plans for the future that you have? Not even in film? Are you hoping to do, maybe even a skateboard YouTube channel, things like that?
well, yeah. So speaking of skateboard YouTube channel, I'm making a movie right now with my
Ooh.
friends, a skateboarding movie. I'm really excited for that. My older brother is going to do some music. He plays guitar, the drums, pretty much everything. So he's going to do the music. And it's basically just going to be my life, some funny things that happen to me. A lot of interesting things have happened with me and my friends that I'd like to make a little movie about, and just us skateboarding and having fun. Also, I'd really like to travel, experiencing different cultures, and traveling to these different places can really teach you a lot, and it's something I'd really like to do.